Located here. It was located out over top of the water down at Franklin River, and then the barges came in and unloaded the fuel into the fuel bunkers, and then it was unloaded into rail cars which were transferred around the different branch lines to fuel up the Ledgerwoods and the locomotives and on all that kind of stuff. Some of my burnt out stumps that I've been carving, once again from Tom Beaton's ideas in Tall Timber Shortlines magazines. Then we come off the dump line, and this will be where the warehouse is, which was located right beside the bunkhouses. And this was these are where all the single guys stayed, and then they had a married quarters, which one family would get a whole bunkhouse to themselves, and that will be located along this point here. And then down at Franklin, they had a huge locomotive repair shop, and it's just built into cardstock right now. The floor is all done and the rails are all laid through it, but now it's the big part of scratch building that, and all I've got to work with is a few pictures, and the concrete slab is still there, and I've measured that about 4 or 5 different times and grabbed the odd artifact, and so I got a basic layout, but where everything goes inside I really don't know, because most of the guys that ever worked there are long passed on now, and there's really no photographs that I've seen of the inside of the Loki shed to know where things were located, so I'll basically just go with basic construction of other ones that have been photographed. So a few of my locomotives. The back one's a Key model Feather River Shay. APL had one, Franklin never had one, but it was available at the right price, so it'd be a nice addition. And in the foreground was the Northwest Shortlines, and that's an exact replica of the one that they had at Franklin River and Menzies Bay. They called it Whispering Jesus. I talked to one of the old timers years ago, and they said it was so quiet that it just sounded like it was whispering as it was coming up behind you. A few of my log cars. They're all scratch built with KD bunks and KD trucks, and I scratch built all the bodies and put all the brake rigging on them and get them all titled up. There's one of the fuel bunker fuel cars, and they had quite a few of them, and that's how they transferred fuel around the different areas. Shop crane. So this continues on. This will go through Camp A, which was located at the Franklin River mouth. And then it continues on out of the yard. And then they used CN rail surveyed grade. There was a race from Victoria up to Courtenay with CPR. Whoever got there first got the right of way. Well, CPR went up the east coast and bought up the E&N, so then that track was already through, and then CN lost out because they came through Cowichan and they had to push all the rail through, but they never got to the rail stage, but all the grade was surveyed and laid out. So Franklin River, when they started logging in 34, they just took over the grade and laid their own rails, which followed